Hey guys, it's Ankit Kumar and welcome to another session in the series of complete guide on Flutter development. Until now, we have discussed what is Flutter, why we need Flutter, then we looked into Dart, what is Dart, and why Flutter loves Dart. Then we moved to widgets and their role into Flutter app development. In the continuation of this learning, let's discuss one of the most commonly used widgets in Flutter today. So today's video is dedicated to container widget. Container widget is one of the most used widget and it's a convenient widget that combines painting, positioning and sizing widgets into one. To understand it better, we can say that container widget used to contain a child widget with the ability to apply some styling properties like background color, shadow, margin, alignment, and you can also transform the child widget by adding rotation, scale, animation and much more. One important thing to note here is that if a container widget does not have any child widget inside it, then it shall automatically fill area of the screen. Otherwise, if there is a child, it will wrap to height and width of the given child element or the widget. So let's say we have a simple app in which we have a text on the screen, actually in the center of the screen, and that is at the center using the center widget. This. So what we want to do, we want to add some background styling or background color to this text. That can be done using container. So if I select this text and press Option written on keyboard in my MacBook, we can see wrap with the container. So let's wrap this with the container. Now this text has been wrapped in a container. Let's add some of the properties to this container now. Let's add some background color. So for background color, let me add color.blue. If I save this application, you can see Flutter tutorial has got background color. So this color property is to paint behind the child. In our case, child is text. So we are painting behind the child text. This property should be preferred when a background is a simple color. For other cases such as gradients, images, use decoration property. So we'll be using decoration property soon. One thing to note, if the decoration is used, this property, color property must be null or we are not supposed to use it. A background color may still be painted by the decoration even if this property is null. Here you can see this background color is exactly matching with the height of text and we want some space between the border of color and the text. So let me add padding to this. Padding adds an empty space to inscribe inside the container. We can use new property called as insert with all constructor so that we can provide same padding to every side of the text. So you can see this all constructor provides 10.0 padding to every side. The next property of container we are using is constraint. Constraint is a property to add additional constraint to our container. So let's add constraint. Let's say constraint BoxConstraint dot expand. If I save it now, my container will expand to all available space. Let me change this color so that we can see it a bit different. Let me add it green. So you can see after adding constraint BoxConstraint.expand, this container has occupied all available empty space on the screen. The constructor width and height arguments are combined with the constraint argument to set this property. We can override it by using BoxConstraint constructor and we can provide maximum and minimum width and height respectively. So let me add minimum width which is 100. If I save it now, you will see there is no difference at all. But if I add max width to 150, you will see that the text has wrapped into next line because we can clearly see that the width of text is much higher than 150. If we make it 200, it will fit exactly. For now, let me remove this minimum width and height constraint and add expand so that we can use expanded view of the container. The next property we are going to use is alignment. So we can use alignment dot center. Child in the container will be moved to center. So you can see on my screen, my text has moved to center. We can change this alignment to center left. It will move to center left or center right. So it will move to center right. Let me use center for now. One more thing to note about alignment, if this property is not null, The container will expand to fill its parent and position its child within itself according to the given value. If the incoming constraints are unbounded, then the child will be shrink wrapped instead. If there is no child and we have given alignment, then this alignment will be ignored. Next properties of container are height and width. So we can add width and height to our container. After adding this height and width with 200, there is no change in the container because we are providing constraint expand. So let me comment it and save it. You can see now our container has acquired 200 width and 200 height and it has become exact square. Let me remove this height and width for now and let's use expand. Our next property is transform. Using transform, we can change the scale, rotation and all sorts of dimensional properties of this container. The transformation matrix to apply before painting the container. It means all the transform properties applies on the container before it get raw. Here in this video, I am going to show rotation using transform. So let's use matrix 4 dot rotation z and it accept radian. Please make sure it accept radian. It is not a degree. If you don't know about radian, please Google it and understand a bit about it. Here for example, let me use 0.5 which is around 30 degree. When I save it, you can see on my screen my container has rotated 30 degree. I cannot see my container fully. Let me just remove this constraint and add height and width back to container so that we can look it completely. So now we can see that container has rotated 30 degree exactly with a square shape. Transform has many other properties as well. We will understand transform in dedicated video because it has more details and concepts. For now, let it be rotation only. Next big property is rotation decoration. By using decoration, you can put number of properties to containers such as shape, shadow, borders, box shadow, etc. To use decoration, we have to use box decoration. And box decoration accept many properties such as gradient, color, box shadow, border radius, border, background, blend mode, image, shape and others. Let's continue with box decoration and add colors. So let's add color dot blue. One thing to keep in mind that if we are using decoration color properties, we cannot use colors of container. So we have to remove this color so that we can supply color from the decoration box. If I save it now, it has taken color blue instead of color green, which was supplied from the container. Next property is border. Border accept border with all constructor, and in this constructor we can provide color. Let's make it colors dot yellow. Width, let's make it 2.0, and style. Style is border style. So border style dot solid and save it. You can see there is border. Let me just increase the width of border so that it can be visible properly. So you can see border yellow has been decorated on my container. Let me just comment down transform so that we can look container without rotation. If border is not visible clearly, let me change this color to red. And now you can see color of border and it has 5 width. Next property is border radius. So border radius is border radius which accept border radius dot all constructor. It accept radius dot circular. Let's make it 20.0. Now you can see our container has border radius 20 and it looks pretty good now. Next property is box shadow. Box shadow accept array of box shadows. So we can provide multiple shadows to this box. Let me add one shadow. That shadow can have color, which is, let's add it colors dot black. Then the radius is 5.0 and spread radius 3.0 and save it. You can see it has now box shadow with the provided properties. We can add multiple box shadows. If I change this and change color to red, it has multiple box shadows. The next property is gradient. Let me use linear gradient here. Linear gradient accept color is array of colors, so we can provide multiple colors. So let's say colors dot black, then colors dot white. To show it as a gradient, we need to provide begin of the gradient and end of the gradient. So for begin of the gradient, let's me add alignment center left, and end of the gradient alignment center right. If I save it now, you can see there is a gradient on my screen. Let me change this color. So let me change this to red, blue. Now you can see it has a good gradient on the screen. Next property of the container is shape. To provide shape, you can provide BoxShape, BoxShape.circle. Please make sure that you are not supposed to use border radius when you are using shape in the container. So if you remove border radius and save it, container has taken shape of circle. You can make your own shape and provide that class to this. That's all for this video, guys. If you like this video, please press thumbs up, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to get notified about more technical interesting videos from Tech Talks. If you have any question, any feedback, or any suggestions to improve my videos, please write down below in the comments. Thanks.